Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you've all been enjoying this glorious weather. It's been absolutely beautiful and we've been quite busy in the garden the past few weeks. So in this video I'll be planting out the asparagus, we'll be planting out some sweet corn, some courgettes. I've replaced the lavender in the lavender hedge, and me and my mum have also added some new flowers to the flower border. Hey Alfie. Hello baby, good boy. So we popped to a garden centre this morning. We actually popped to 3 and we did a little bit of a garden centre crawl, but one is literally just up the road from us, so we had a cup of coffee there, which was nice. But we got quite a few plants from there, and then we went to the next one, bought a few more, then we just had lunch in the third one, so that was quite nice. But yeah, we've bought a few more plants to add to the herbaceous border. So we've got some foxgloves, some hollyhocks, we bought some lupins, some wild teasel. I bought some cosmos as well because I haven't sown any cosmos. And then this one, I had one of these in the allotment, and the bees absolutely adored it. It's Cirsium atropurpureum. And it grows to about 1.8 metres in height. I really love tall plants, so I couldn't resist adding another one to this garden because, like I said, the bees really like it. And we also got some penstemon as well. So yeah, just a few more. Obviously we're going to need more to fill up this border. It's about 15.5 metres long. But yeah, we're just going to add to it little by little. There's also some roses here which we added a few months ago. I think we bought them back in November, from David Austin. We've got, what's this one? Oh, Gentle Hermione. What's that one? One's Buttercup because I bought one from the allotment. This one is Rolled Dowel. This one is Desdemona. Oh, that's Buttercup. So what's that one? I don't know what the other rose is. Gabriel Oak. Summer Song. What was that other one then? Must have been one from the allotment. What else did I have? My mum's. No, is it no, I can't think what the other one is.
Not the Kim's one that she got you?
No, I left that on the other one. I can't think.
You got a name on?
No, so it must be one from the allotment. I can't think what that one is. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure I've written it down somewhere anyway. Oh, and we've got Sanguisorbia, which we picked up a couple of weeks ago, and some of the lamb's ear. I can't remember the real name for that. The proper name. But we had quite a lot of this in the old garden. So we've basically just chosen flowers which we like or we had in the old garden already. And also I've sown some verbena as well because I want loads of that. I think that looks really nice en masse. And there's also some sunflowers which I've sown too, but obviously they won't be ready to plant out for a while. So yeah, me and my mum are just busy planting them up. It's a glorious day. I think we're going to also plant the gladiolo bulbs as well while we're here. And my dad's weeding the peas, so nice day in the garden. And of course the dogs are just lazing around. Hey Alf, where's Teddy gone? He's probably off barking at the gate. Right, let's get cracking. All the plants are in, so that's one job ticked off the list for today. Next job is to get some gladioli bulbs planted up. Now I had plans for these, I mentioned in my last video. We were going to make a 5 metre by 2 metre raised bed where I was going to put some of my cut flowers, including these gladioli bulbs and my 7 dahlias, which I have. But unfortunately we haven't made them yet. We just haven't had the time to do it, basically. So instead of these going to waste, we're going to just put them in the herbaceous border, just dotted around. Now, usually I just plant them in lines, but what we're going to do here is we're going to put them, plant them up into sort of clumps, just dotted around, and probably midway down the border, just because they grow to about 1 metre in height. But yeah, it's going to look good because I think there's about 100 bulbs here waiting to go in. So yeah, they're going to look really nice. But I will just go through the varieties with you. I think I have 3 different varieties. So we've got Lumiere, we have Evergreen and Fiorentina. Evergreen, Lumiere, Evergreen, and then these Fiorentina. Yeah, so there's 30 of each of those variety. 30 each of those. And then whilst I was in the garden centre a few weeks ago, I picked up some more because, you know, you can never have enough gladioli. This one's called Petsjora, and it's a lovely sort of purple and pinky shade. I don't think I can really remember. Obviously the evergreen ones are green, but yeah, I'll put pictures up of those varieties for you. I got all of these ones from Farmer Gracie, and yes, they arrived months ago because, like I said, they were going to go in the raised bed, and I've been holding off to plant them in there because I thought that we would have the raised beds made in time, but unfortunately not, so they'll be absolutely fine in this border. They just need to be planted around 6 inches deep and 6 inches apart, and yes, quite simple. We're just going to use dibbers. We've got 1 each because my mum's going to help me. I don't think it would take that long, but yeah, it's going to look really, really nice. I absolutely love gladioli. I grew quite a lot of it on the allotment a couple of years ago. I love them so much, so I couldn't not have them in the new garden. Right, so I better get my mum and get planting. So we are huge asparagus lovers in our family, so it only seemed right to plant some asparagus in the new garden. I grew asparagus on the old allotment, but I think I only had 1 plant, so I obviously didn't get that many spears, but it was always exciting seeing them emerge from the ground. It was really good fun, and of course they were tasty as well. But this time round we have 6 meters to play with, so I've managed to fit about 16 asparagus crowns into this end of the row. Now, ordered these crowns a few weeks ago now, and they were delivered while we were at the Harrogate Flower Show. So I've given them a good soak in a bucket of water for a few hours because you don't want them to dry out. But yeah, they are ready to plant. So what I've done is I have dug a trench. It's about 30 centimetres wide by about 20 centimetres deep. Then I put some well-rotted manure onto the bottom, and then I've just used some of the excavated soil to produce a ridge in the centre. So when you have your crowns, they have a lot of these lovely spidery roots on them, and you want to just carefully prise them apart and then put them on top of the ridge, like so. It just gives them really, really good drainage. They like drainage. And I'm spacing them at about a foot apart, maybe a little bit over a foot. You can plant asparagus between 12 inches to 18 inches. So yeah, these are about 13, 14 inches apart. So just put them on top of the ridge, like so. And then all that's left to do after that is to gently put the soil back on top. You want to cover them about 2 inches. What you can do is you can cover them just so the tops are visible, and then you can put 2 inches of manure on. However, we don't have any manure left. So I'm just going to cover it with 2 inches of the soil and then give them a good water. And it'll be a few years until we get a really good harvest from them, but I'm very, very excited. So we popped down to our local garden centre again. It's literally just down the road from us, which is perfect. But it's just a nice little independent nursery, and we picked up quite a few vegetable seedlings because we're a little bit late in sowing some of them, mainly because we don't have a greenhouse yet, and also because we've just been so busy that we just haven't got around to sowing some. So we're quite lucky in the way that this nursery has quite a lot of seedlings on offer, and we managed to get quite a lot. We actually got some sweet chilies and some tomatoes for the polytunnel for when that goes up, but we bought some courgettes and some sweet corn, and I picked up another lavender as well for my lavender hedge. But with the courgettes, I managed to get 3, which is what I needed to get. So I've gone for 2 yellow varieties, which are called Athena Polka, and then I also have a green variety, which is called Ambassador F1. I grew, I think, some yellow varieties on the old allotment, and I just loved them. Like, I loved the colour of them. They were so cheerful. They were easy to pick because you could just see them stand out against the green foliage. And yeah, I mean, they were just delicious. So that's why I've gone for 2 of the yellow and just 1 green. But with courgettes, they are so prolific. So 3 I thought would be more than enough for us. I planted them about 1 metre apart, but they can be anything from about 90 centimetres, just because they do grow quite big and you do get a lot from them, so just bear that in mind. So I've also given them a really, really good water. The best thing to do with like courgettes and pumpkins is to just water the base. Try not to get the leaves too wet, because otherwise they suffer from mildew, and it just makes the leaves, you know, turn sort of white and patchy, and yeah, it's not very good for the plant. So try and water them on the base. So the legume bed is near enough done, and we are so happy with it. It's one of our favourite beds just because it's so jam-packed. The asparagus, which I planted a couple of weeks ago, has started to sprout and show signs of life, which is exciting. I was really worried about them not surviving, so it's good to see. We've got 3 rows of Hurst green shaft peas and then 3 rows of early onward peas, which are looking fantastic. We put the structure up for these just so they've got something to climb up. And then we've got some borlotti beans, which have all germinated. I'm so happy with them. They're going to climb up the wigwams. The courgettes are in the middle. I need to plant out some Jack Be Little pumpkins to go up the wigwams. That's the last things to go up them. And then we've got some runner beans, which are just starting to germinate there. And then last but not least are the broad beans, which are looking so healthy and they're starting to flower now. Yeah, it's just looking really good. It's exciting to see the allotment starting to come to life and show signs of life. It's really exciting. So next on the list was to plant out the sweet corn. Like I said before, we decided to buy these. We were going to sow them, but then when we saw them in the local nursery, we just thought we would cheat and buy them, because by the time that we had sowed them, it would have been a few weeks until they got to this size to plant out. So yeah, we just thought we would cheat and buy them. Now, this variety is called Swift, which luckily is the variety which we tend to always grow with the sweet corn. It's always best to plant your sweet corn out in a block. So we've gone for a 5 by 6 block of sweet corn. This way, because they're wind pollinated, they will just help to pollinate each other better than they would do in a row. Now, I always plant out 2 of the end rows just to make the spacing so much easier. You can just follow the lines then. And these are planted out about 45 centimetres apart. You can do anything from about 35 centimetres up to 45 centimetres apart. But again, you can give them a little bit of space. And yeah, like I said, in a block, they will just help to support each other. They'll help to pollinate each other. And yeah, you should get lots of nice juicy sweet corn, which is what we like. Now, again, it's best to give the young seedlings a really, really good water and keep them watered. In the height of summer, when they are sort of fully grown, you won't need to water them as much, but when they're young, they need a nice long drink. And then the last job was to plant out a little lavender plant. Now, I planted a row at the end of each of these beds, the end of this bed and the end of the potato bed. There's about 14 lavender plants in each row, and yeah, they're just the standard Hidcote variety. The idea was to have a sort of lavender hedge, because I had half of one in the old allotment and I loved it. It was right outside the potting shed and it just looked really, really nice. So the idea here is to have the sort of potting shed and greenhouse area, and then you have the lavender hedge, which will then lead on to the vegetable garden. Obviously the bees really like it, but yeah, it's just really nice to look at, and I love lavender. It's one of my favourite flowers, and I think the smell is just going to be amazing when this is fully grown. So one of them didn't survive, so I just thought I'd pick up another one and put it in to replace it. Such a lovely evening. It's about 7 o'clock now and it doesn't get dark till about 9 o'clock, so we've got a couple more hours to finish quite an important job. We're actually just working on the orchard area at the moment. So we took the turf off. My dad's raked it. He's just clearing some of the scraps of turf that are left. And then what we're going to do in a minute is sow the wildflower seed in the orchard, which is so exciting. So exciting. So yeah, we're going to try and finish that today and then try and give it a good water. The weather forecast goes up until the 3rd of June. I think that's like 2 weeks away. And there's no rain. So we've had to buy an extension for our hose pipe just so we can reach to water the orchard, because obviously we don't want all that seed to go to waste. We want to keep it nice and wet so it can germinate. But yes, so excited about the orchard area, and also pretty excited about my dahlias. even though the raised bed is not there to put them in. I think we're just going to put them in the flower border for now, for this year, and then obviously we can dig them up again in the winter. Hopefully the raised bed will be built in the autumn or the winter, so next year they can be put into their proper home. But I've never had much luck growing dahlias from tubers. I've always bought like the rooted cuttings, so very, very pleased that they've all sprouted. I think I've got 7 altogether. It was a little bit touch and go for quite a while, and this one in fact has just got some small sprouts on it, but they've all sprouted now, so I'm really, really happy with that. So happy. And yeah, like I said, I'll probably just plant them out into the flower border for this year. And yeah, I might try and do that tomorrow actually, and then that's done. But yeah, tonight we are going to focus on the orchard. That will be a completely separate video all about the orchard. So yeah, I really, really hope you enjoyed this video and all the little jobs I've been up to, and we will see you in the next one.